The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Cheers! Cheers, please!
You're listening to In the Corner with BenNny Mac. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unforgiving. Here's the man in the corner, BenNny Mac.
Welcome back to In the Corner. Another week of wrestling is done and dusted. Obviously, depending on when you listen to this, Raw will be tomorrow for me. This is a Sunday edition of In the Corner. This is BenNny Mac riding solo, as we do on the Sunday show. Hope you all had a good week. Hope you enjoyed the wrestling you watched, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan, or any other wrestling you may have seen over the week. Glad to be back doing the shows back to normal. Episode 32 of In the Corner already here on SJP World Media. Kind of insane that that's already we're already at that number, but I suppose 2 shows a week generally. As it turned out, we were talking on Wednesday's show, and me and Tyler, and turns out there's going to be no premium live event pay-per-view until Royal Rumble in terms of main roster. NXT stuff coming up, though. I think me and Tyler will try and talk about one of those because we haven't got a main one. Well, let's take a look at NXT. It's obviously changed from 2.0, and it's by the sounds of it, it's heading back in the right direction. NXT Europe, right around the corner. The first quarter, they said. So let's say about February, March time. I have no idea. I need to look up some info on that. After NXT UK finished, which is a shame. But if they're going to do NXT Europe, that makes more sense. Hopefully opens up the markets a bit more for the wrestlers over this side of the world. And hopefully some good shows is what I'm trying to get out here. Little side note here also. Side rants in the corner will be coming soon. I think the first episode, if I say episodes, what they are, they're like short little things that me and Tyler talk about before we go on air, basically. So, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. So there might be one every week, there might be one every 2 weeks, there might be one every 3 weeks. I don't know, but look out for that side rant. There is going to be one coming out. Let's put it out Monday. I'm going to put it out Monday during the day sometime. I'll program it in so it's out there. But it's just me and Tyler just talking. No bells and whistles. No effects at all. No extra production on it. It is literally just us chatting. I'll put some music at the end so you know it's finishing. But other than that, there's going to be no real bells and whistles on it. It's just literally every time I get on the line with Tyler, we are talking for about 10-15 minutes before the show starts about whatever. Mainly wrestling, but there are a few things in there that we talk about that are quite random, to be honest. But I would say probably at least once a month, depending on how good the content I feel it is. It might be every other week. I don't know. But there is one coming out Monday. So look out for that for In the Corner on SJP World Media. They aren't full episodes. Like I said, they are literally just side rants. So In the Corner side rants, basically. A bit like this, really. Thank you very much for listening. Follow the show on Twitter at In the Corner WWE. You can also email the show inthecornerwwe@gmail.com. We are working on some side projects. Because there is no premium live events coming up in terms of the main roster. Like I said, we might look at the NXT one that's coming up, but might give me a chance to work on this little side thing I've been trying to do for a while. I've spoke to Tyler about it, and I've spoke to Mr. SJP himself, and hopefully we can get that recorded soon. Hopefully before Christmas. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be a bonus episode. I suppose a little bit of fantasy booking, I suppose, to a degree, in terms of wrestling WWE. So hopefully a bit of fun, something a bit different for In the Corner. But Sai, I've hopefully wangled Sai in to be essentially the referee for that between me and Tyler, basically. Moving on to this week's Smackdown. To be fair, Raw this week wasn't that bad, and nor was SmackDown. I was actually quite excited to see SmackDown. Definitely some key moments on the show. and we had this final of the World Cup tournament, and the winner will go on to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship in 2 weeks' time, apparently. So not next week on SmackDown, in 2 weeks' time. Also, the Usos, by the way, are defending the tag team titles Monday night coming. So that's going to be interesting. Now, apparently, if they survive, I believe it's Elias and... who's Elias team with? Sorry, Matt Riddle. Goodness me. Are going to be... so the Usos are going to be defending the tag team titles against those two on Raw. I don't see the Usos losing them, to be honest with you. But, never know. But after the... if whoever survives, basically, will be taking on Drew McIntyre and Sheamus on SmackDown, apparently for those newly or still retained tag team titles, depending on who wins. Like I said, I don't see the Usos losing it. The run they're having. If you're going to do that, I feel like it's going to have to be a pay-per-view, isn't it? So, in terms of Roman as well, like, there's nothing, as far as I'm aware, nothing scheduled at the moment, unless they're going to surprise us with a pay-per-view that we don't know about. Basically, Royal Rumble is the next time there is a premium live event in terms of the main roster, like I've already said at the top of the show. So, that's not to say Roman won't defend the title, but I very few and far between. Let's face it. I don't see it happening. If it does, great, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I'm going to talk a bit more about Roman in a little bit on the end of the show here, but let's just go through SmackDown quickly. Escobar and Ricochet had a great match on SmackDown main event. For this, for the World Cup tournament. The winner, obviously, they win the cup, but the ultimate goal here is to get a shot against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Not a bad match. They had great chemistry between themselves. There was a few little moments. There was about two, I think, where things didn't quite go to plan. But when do they ever, to be honest? But overall, not a bad match. If they can define it a bit better, it could be an absolute stormer on a pay-per-view. But Ricochet is set to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship in 2 weeks. We've also had Braun Strowman getting involved with Gunther as well. So, and obviously, they did Imperium cost Braun Strowman the final place match, which was against Ricochet. So, could we be seeing the end of Gunther's run here? Because there's a good possibility here that Ricochet could walk away with the IC title and it being cost by Braun Strowman. And that would set up a good feud between Gunther and Braun Strowman. Because I actually think that would be a really good match, to be honest. What I've seen and the way they've done, teased it the last few weeks has been really good on SmackDown. So hopefully that... I want to see that, actually, believe it or not. So, I definitely didn't want to see Gunther and Omos. Not Gunther and Omos. Strowman and Omos at Crown Jewel a while back, but... we got it. It happened, and let's move on. So hopefully, both can move on to better things. But yeah, again, not a bad SmackDown overall. We did see Kofi take on Gunther as well. That was again, Gunther and Kofi can't really have bad matches, to be honest. They're very few and far between, as far as I can tell. But Gunther did defeat Kofi Kingston via pinfall after landing the what does he call it? The Emerald Flotion powerbomb. I don't know. Braun Strowman cleared out the ring. Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. So that actually got those removed from the ringside, so it ended up being a good one-on-one match between Gunther and Kofi. Shayna Baszler was in action. She took on Emma, and she defeated Emma via submission. This is actually leading into a good moment, to be honest. It's very good to have a guest on to bounce some ideas off, but we saw the return of Tegan Nox almost a year after she was fired. Allegedly, I believe it was to do with injuries, which is a bit shit, isn't it, to get fired from a job after you've injured yourself. I assume at the job. I don't know the ins and outs of the story, but it's good to see her back. Tegan Nox from Wales, believe it or not. Great wrestler. We definitely didn't see the best of her at all. So hopefully now, Triple H at the reins, maybe so. But she ended up helping Liv Morgan, who decided she was going to take on Damage Control by herself. Obviously, the numbers got the better of her. Then Tegan Knox came out. Then again, the numbers got better of both. And then also Liv Morgan came in wielding a kendo stick and, broke the kendo stick very quickly. Good to see Liv Morgan having maybe an ally, possibly. It could be quite interesting to see where that goes. What else happened on SmackDown? Oh, there is. Karrion Kross cut a great sort of vignette that they had. I don't remember the exact words, but I was just sort of taken by it. And they were drawing like tarot cards, and it basically calls out time is ticking. It showed the image of the Emperor, and it was Rey Mysterio. So it looks like Karrion Kross is going to be aiming for Rey Mysterio going forward. Now, how that's going to play out, I don't know. We haven't seen Karrion Kross for a couple of weeks, it feels like, so good to see that. And the promo was really good. The backstage stuff, the production of it was really good. And it's very similar, not in a sense of the same height, but I like the stuff with Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, revel in what you are again. I don't know whether Uncle Howdy, again, I think it's like a schizophrenia type thing. It's split personalities or something. Obviously people are still speculating it could be all these like a Wyatt 6 and stuff like that, but whether it is, I don't know. I'm just intrigued to see where this goes. I could sit here and speculate for 2 hours about it, but I wouldn't necessarily know or get it right. But I feel like it's the monster being slowly let out via Bray Wyatt. And the LA Knight stuff with Bray, I don't know, I'm assuming this is going to lead more and more. At some point, we got to see Bray Wyatt get in the ring. Logic says Royal Rumble. Again, there might be a show before Rumble, because we're in December. We haven't got that long to wait, but there will be essentially a month in terms of main roster without a big premium live event, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Get us geared more for Royal Rumble, and there could be some great matches at Rumble and returns at Royal Rumble and all this kind of stuff. So it could be good. Emma and Shayna's match was okay. I don't think Emma's quite found her stride since being back. They're kind of doing the thing with Madcap Moss backstage. As Tyler informed me, they're a couple, apparently in real life, so we'll see where that goes. Maybe a double cross would be good on that, I don't know. That's what I was going to say. They also, again, they look like they're repackaging Lacey Evans once again, because they tried to bring her out a while back, didn't they? This is before Triple H took over as a American hero. She's a former military person, but it didn't quite take off, I don't think. Then they tried to do it the heel way, and then it still didn't quite. Then she seemed to disappear. And we saw a couple of promos over this last week, actually, of different wrestlers, and I've noticed they've started doing that, keeping people relevant by having little video packages, whether it be Drew McIntyre or whoever. So yeah, it was. I'm interested to see where Lacey Evans. I feel like she's a heel. She was really good as that Southern thing that she did before as a heel, and I think she's just got that look about her where she will just look down on you. And I feel like she's a heel, but she's gone back to, in the video package, is what I should say. She's gone back to her Marine background and is retraining and to refocus. Is the sort of message I got from that. Bloodline, they seem to be okay. They seem to be cemented now, but there was a bit of a conversation between Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy asking Jay, did Sammy ever tell you that he lied to your face? And he was like, no, Roman said he'd look him in the eyes. And so it's still there. Sammy did lie. Is that going to come out at some point? Quite possibly. They send Sammy out with Sikoa to get food. They send Sikoa with him because Sammy's made enemies. Then they have that little bit of conversation, which I just talked about, and then out of nowhere, Sheamus and Drew come out and lay out the Usos and say good luck on Monday, and we'll see you on the other side. Basically, is what I said earlier. So, Sami Zayn. Did Sami Zayn have a match? I'm so confused now. I've got the two different lists in front of me, ladies and gents. Yes, he did. Sami Zayn. I'm getting confused with Raw and SmackDown now. Sami Zayn defeated Sheamus with help from the Bloodline, including Jay, which is the big moment. Jay actually helped Sami defeat Sheamus. So again, the sort of brawling brutes, Sheamus, obviously Drew. The Bloodline thing isn't quite over yet. But what's really good with the Bloodline is even though Roman's not there, because we've got Sikoa, Zayn, and the Usos, it keeps that story ticking over. And when Roman does turn up, as much as I want to see him more on the show, that's the point of it, I guess. They've done really well. They've almost done a Brock with Roman, haven't they, to be honest, in the sense of you can't wait to see him, but at least with the Roman stuff, because you've got the Bloodline in Sami, or Sami Uso now, it keeps it relevant, it keeps it ticking over, and when Roman does turn up, it's like the big dog, the head of the table, tribal chief, is really good. Overall, SmackDown was good. Even Raw was good this week, but you need to have that. The problem with the brand split stuff, if they do, I don't know what they're doing with that. Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe eventually it will filter down, because the reason why I'm saying it is because when they bring somebody back, they say, oh, they're going to be on SmackDown. Oh, they're going to be on this. They're going to be on that. Okay, but you have different. It's almost like back when they did the Raw Super Show and the SmackDown Super Show back in the day. So I don't care how they do it. I just kind of want. We say it on the Wednesday show, and I say it a lot. To be fair, we have wrestlers making matches. Oh, let's have a match. Okay, here's a referee. Let's go. Okay, but I feel like I'm not go either. I just feel like you need somebody to come out and be like a GM again. Don't necessarily have to be a GM. It could be just Adam Pearce being the authoritative sort of person saying, "Yeah, we're gonna have a match" or whatever. Yeah, call people out and challenge people, but then they do the whole thing of like, yeah, the office have agreed to have a Hell in a Cell match down the line or whatever. So I don't know. In terms of the draft stuff, one or the other, please. It's starting to sort of. That's the only thing that niggles at me a lot. Is that because they've signed when Braun came back, it was said Braun was only going to be on SmackDown. And to be fair, majority of the time he has been, but he has been on Raw as well. Don't tell me he's going to be on one show and not on the other, but then he's on the other one anyway. Yeah, you want to boost ratings and stuff. I get it, but just I need some sort of. If I'm getting confused by it, then how many people who tune in are kind of like, well, he's on Raw. Okay. Oh, now he's on SmackDown. Okay, now he's on Raw. Are we having a brand split? We've got 2 titles on one guy at the moment. Great. And we've got the tag title. So it feels like maybe they are just going to go back to the old format of Raw, SmackDown, and just have, what happened on Raw carry over to SmackDown, what carries on SmackDown carry over to Raw, which then leads into a pay-per-view or PLE. I don't know. I'm ranting a lot about it, but I want them to answer the question one way or the other. It's probably my guess on that one. There's a lot of talk over this. We're finished with we're finished with Roman. SmackDown, like I said, was a great show, and it's good that they did the stuff on Raw. After War Games, because if you'd have waited till Friday, I think the heat that it had, the carryover it had, would have maybe dwindled a bit. But Raw was good because of the events of War Games, I think. So it's where the story carries over and you want to see more. Now, we did say on Wednesday's show that a lot of what they did on the show didn't really go too far with the story, but it nudged it along a smidge. But it was more like a fallout of what happened at War Games, which was good. Doesn't get ignored, which is good. Sometimes things need to be addressed, sometimes they don't, but it's nice when they address them a bit enough to, okay, now we can move on to the next thing, whatever that may be, which is obviously at the moment headed to Royal Rumble as far as we're aware. So, yeah. But there's a lot of talk about Roman and Rock, and that has been since literally, I want to say probably the last 6 months, if not a year. Roman's always called himself the head of the table. A lot of fans are speculating now that Rock's going to return and win the Royal Rumble. I hope that doesn't happen. Nothing against The Rock whatsoever. He's going to draw people in. And if they're going to do a 2-night WrestleMania, why not have him? And obviously the Roman, whoever he's going to be facing at Mania, I would assume would be on the Sunday because they close the show. So why not have Rock there on a Saturday so people know he's there? They draw him in. Okay. But I don't think if we're going to do it, you need to do it now. But if you're not going to, I don't think Roman needs to beat The Rock. I don't know who Roman's opponent's going to be at Mania. The general consensus is going to be Cody. Okay, great. Maybe there's some questionable antics going on in that event. Let's just say it is Roman versus Cody. It doesn't have to be Cody, but let's just, whoever it is. It could be Roman KO. It could be Roman Drew McIntyre. It could be, there is a handful here that could put on a great match. It could be Roman versus Edge. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen, but, like I said, have Rock there on a Saturday, and then if you really have to do Roman versus Rock, do it when the title's not on the line. Do it so Roman's no longer champion, because yes, it'll have to be Mania, obviously, but Rock coming back and winning the title, he doesn't need it. And what if he beats Roman? What, a month later, less than 3 weeks later, another pay-per-view, Backlash or whatever it's going to be this year come in. You can drop the title to somebody else? It won't mean as much. And that's no disrespect to The Rock. The Rock is the fucking Rock. He is the man. He is he's moved on to, doesn't need to come back to WWE. He wants to, I would assume. But for Roman to beat The Rock, it makes no sense to me. Unless Roman beats Rock, that's different. If Rock beats Roman, no, don't do that. Doesn't seem, because you've got this run that Roman's been on, and to end it on a guy that is no longer within business anymore. Yes, he dibs in and out, but not somebody who's there full time. No, I don't want to see that. I didn't want to see it. No offense to The Rock again, because the guy's a freaking legend. But in terms of wrestling and in the film, but it's just he came back and beat Punk, and then lost it to Cena a month later. Now I don't know whether Rock. I don't know. It just didn't make sense then. It definitely doesn't make sense now. It makes even less sense now to have Roman lose to The Rock and become the undisputed champion. No. It should be put on someone who is someone like Cody or Drew. It doesn't matter. But it needs to be someone who's, no offense, not Goldberg. And I'm so glad that Roman didn't lose the title to Goldberg this year. And all that, because the stuff that they've done, I know I'm rambling, but the stuff they have done with the Bloodline and Roman, Sammy, it's the best storyline in years. And it's still going. But it's been going for almost 2 years. This has been building and building. So, yeah, for Rock to come back, I think you get the gist. Rock beating Roman makes no sense to me whatsoever. Let me know your thoughts on Twitter, @InTheCornerWWE. If you've got anything longer to say than the characters it allows you on Twitter, InTheCornerWWE@gmail.com. Love to hear it. Love to hear your thoughts. And we'll read them out on Wednesday's show if you've got any. If anything, I would actually like to see this. This was put to me by somebody else, and I actually really like the idea. Rock does get involved at WrestleMania, whoever Roman's opponent is. And it looks like Rock's coming out, and they have a bit of a face-off. Rock and Roman lock eyes. Rock bottoms Roman's opponent. Roman retains the title, carrying on his amazing run that he's on, and Rock acknowledges the tribal chief. Now, whether that's a handshake, a hug, a kneel, whatever it has to be, I think that's the way to go. But if you wanted to do Rock versus Roman, who's the head of the table, maybe you could have Roman lose the title, then into question calls, are you the head of the table? The Bloodline kind of fractures a bit, maybe Jay leaves, I don't know. But then The Rock comes and defends one of his cousins, Jay, maybe, and then that's a Rock Roman. But it doesn't need to have a title involved in it. It doesn't need to, from my liking. It doesn't need to have Rock and Roman. I don't think Rock should be the one to take the title off Roman. Having said that, I don't know who should take it off. Cody makes sense to a degree, but I think we're all under the assumption that Cody is going to come back and win the Rumble, but you could still have... Roman could have a great main event pretty much against anybody at the moment. In, even there's Sheamus, Drew, Edge, KO, Sammy, Jay, freaking pretty much anybody. I don't want to see Brock and Roman again. We've seen that enough. Hopefully you've got my gist anyway, because I've ranted a bit there, to be honest. But hopefully that makes sense. Let me know any of your thoughts, as I said, @InTheCornerWWE on Twitter, or email the show, InTheCornerWWE@gmail.com, and we will see you all on Wednesday, where Tyler's joining me back from across the pond for some more In the Corner WWE action. I am Benny Mac. Thanks for listening to the show. See you again Wednesday.